Hello everyone, Hachadino over here, and as you always know, you can like my videos and also subscribe in any of the cats that it's on the sites. Let's go really fast about this. This is just fresh off the oven 10 minutes ago. Blizzard has shown us what they are going to do with mythic dungeons and also heroic and normal. There have been some changes. Things like, for example, on heroic dungeons, they will also be the ones from the rotation. Of course, I will put the article in the description so you can check it out with time if you want. But now normal has not changed. You can manual queue, you can go select the difficulty, and you can also queue with other people, and it's going to be the 8 baseline war within dungeons. Now this is what things change. This has not changed that much because, as you know, now they have adventurer eye level. The mythic mechanics will not be available on heroic. The extra mechanics that some bosses get, you can still queue for this. It's going to still be like a daily thing that you can do. And when the season 1 starts, the heroic dungeons will also be the 8 dungeons that are on the season 1 rotation. You can see them here. But first I'm going to read the mythic things. As you know, in the last season of Dragonflight, if you still haven't played, they changed a little bit how mythic dungeons work, and mythic, let's say 0, was kind of a plus 10 dungeon baseline, and then you could do, of course, one a week of each one, and that didn't change. Now mythic plus, it's still like this. It will begin with no affixes until you go into a plus 4 at least, something, or a plus 7 or whatever it is. And then, well, of course, it will have the weekly affix on 4, that it will be a tyrannical or fortified, then on 7, and then on 10 you will get the last affix. Now you don't have these problems on the normal mythic dungeons. You know, you can change gear, there are no timers, affixes, whatever. The normal mythics, it will be like a plus 10 from the old times from before season 4 of Dragonflight. And now this is a dungeon you can complete with just patience and likely maybe with heroic gear or with things from the world, because as you know, they also can get veteran and adventurer gear and upgrade it. And of course, when the season 1 starts, it will begin being these ones. That also changes a little bit because, if you remember, in Dragonflight, even in season 4, you can do, for example, the Doughty dungeons, kind of the infinites, and get some extra gear like that. And now they will have a daily lockout. This is a big thing because you can get like easier gear, or you can try and get one specific item that you really want in an easier dungeon with no timers, with no depletes, with not anything, and maybe that baseline item will not be crazy because you can't upgrade it between tiers, but it will help you a lot. Of course, Stonebolt, Unbreaker, Arakara, and City of Threats will be the dungeons from War Within that will be featured on Mythic Plus. And then we have Grim Battle, Necrotic Wake, Mist of Irnazad, and Siege of Varalus. Oh no, please. Grim Battle can also have some problems, but Necrotic Wake and Mist of Irnazad were dungeons that were already quite good in their time. They didn't have such crazy mechanics, but as you know, timing and other things can change, and how they balance things. Now, this has not changed that much. A plus 10 would be like a plus 20 on the old system. Now, as you can know here, it will have rewards up to level 10. And then in 11 was the time when you got the highest gear. For the vault, things have not changed. And then they say that they are trying to better align the affixes. Now you can see here, you will have a +2, +4, and +7 instead of +4, 7, and 10. Or 2 when you began with only tyrannical or something like that, doing some changes. Now, what they represent, they should be like that. And of course, smaller range of keystone levels means people are more thrown together and it will be easier to find people, in theory. Now, affixes, they really want to kind of change some things. So they have deleted affixes that were really, really annoying. I'm going to show them really fast. Because, no one like this. And the afflicted and incorporeal were such annoying things that many classes or specs were not available to even interact with them. Like, for example, as a rogue, you could do absolutely nothing to afflicted. You just had to hope the other 4 teammates could do it. For incorporeal, you had your cooldowns and things like that you could use. Then entangling, storming, and volcanic, they were kind of easy, but can also be really annoying. Getting knocked up is never a good experience, and you also have to move around when there are a lot of things that are already there. Of course, there are some things that are staying, like raging, bolstering, bursting, and sanguine. All of them are also a little bit annoying, but raging and bolstering at least have been changed across the times, and bursting also. Even sanguine got a lot of nerfs, and that's, of course, they are going to say things about tyrannical and fortified, but they are not 100% sure about that. Now, let's talk about the new affixes. They were trying to make things a little bit more kiskers. Some people really liked some affixes where you got some extra damage or you got some mechanics that you had to look for, but still get some benefit from it. Now, this will rotate, of course, on a weekly basis, and you will have an advantage. But now this advantage has some things with schools of damage, and also it also makes it a little bit annoying for some tanks. For example, reckless enemies will ignore 20% of armor with their attacks. This, of course, hits super hard to tanks that stack a lot of armor, like warrior or bear. And then, of course, they also have their armor reduced. So physical damaging classes, mainly like, for example, warrior, monks, outlaw, rogue, because assassination and sublet is a lot of split damage. This 30% armor reduction is like almost a 10% damage increase. You want to do the math, it will depending on the hit, blah, blah, whatever, it's more or less. And then they also take 10% increased arcane damage. That's for Moonkins and Arcane Mage. And then also Beer and some other classes have some arcane things in their things. Now for Thorned, they will inflict physical damage to their attackers when attacked. We don't know if this also works with spells. We will check, of course. And then they also take 10% increased holy and shadow damage. This could be really annoying, or you can just heal it up and not care that much about it. Who cares? We will know, of course. Now, attuned, they will increase their magic damage that they do. This will likely be the most dangerous week that you could have. It's going to be kind of cursed unless they change some things. Because one thing is ignoring armor, because some bosses may have some physical hits that they do to other players, or maybe some things. But if you are a cloth wearer, getting 10% armor is almost nothing. But if you are any single class or spec, getting 10% more damage taken, it's a big hit, and we don't know, of course, but they also take 10% increased nature damage and more bleed. This will of course be really good for subtlety and assassination. More of course, more assassination than subtlety, but we also have rupture and its bleed effects nor physical damage over time. So even if we have the our shadow bleed effects, it also works. Warriors will also be really happy about this because they have a lot of bleeds too, and other specs have bleeds like feral, etc. etc. And of course, focused can also be really dangerous. 30% more haste, of course, with auto attacks, making things stack faster and other things. Might be really annoying. And also casts. They will also take more frost and fire damage. We will have to check this, but at least Reckless and Thorned seem to not be super crazy, but Attuned and Focused could be really, really dangerous. And of course, the upside is not huge, like getting a little bit more nature damage and bleed. Not crazy if the mob just completely destroys your whole party with one or two casts. And then the increased haste, maybe some bosses can be also really annoying. Now, that's everything that I wanted to say. Have a nice day. And I will see you on the next video.